learn what you need to learn now in the corporate setting and use those same exact skills, because what you're doing there is not by mistake. You're in that particular situation, in that particular position for a reason. Use that and catapult your business with those skills.
Hey guys, it's Ariel from the Work and Play podcast. If you're getting any value from this channel, and I mean anything from the tutorials to the podcast to the random videos that you see on this channel, then I just ask that you do one thing. Please subscribe. Subscribe and share this to anyone that you think this resonates with, and drop a comment below so I know what other things that you want to see next. Now let's get back to the episode. Welcome to another episode of the Work and Play podcast. I'm your host, Ariel Young, and I have the fabulous Ashely Johnson here to join me. How you doing, girl?
Good.
I'm doing really well. Would you mind introducing yourself to the folks?
Sure. Hey everyone, my name is Ashely Johnson, also known as Ayschel as well too. I am the CEO and founder of Ayschelboutique, as well as a realtor here in the Metro Atlanta area.
Yes. Look, we are getting ready to have a wonderful conversation. I find alignment with so many people, but as I'm listening to your story, I'm like amazed, and I'm like, there's so much to get into.
Aww.
So as we unpack everything, I'm just going to go for the ride, and so are our listeners and our viewers. So what's going on? What's the latest for you these days?
The latest. Well, I, as of earlier this year, I got my real estate license. So I am full-time into real estate. And that's been an exciting journey. It's something that I've always wanted to do. My dad, he actually was in real estate majority of my life. So kind of just seeing him do certain things. And as a little girl, you aspire to grow up and, do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I jumped in, I did that. And I also just recently celebrated my 2-year anniversary with my boutique. So that's exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. And how far would you say you are in real estate?
I just had my first closing a month ago.
Another congrats.
Yeah. So that's very exciting as well too. So, just kind of growing and learning, and
absolutely
it's a new industry, but I'm excited. It's hot, and I'm ready. I'm a learner. I like to learn.
Look, hot and ready, not like Caesar's Pizza, but like something way better. So you've been racking up wins in 2021. Yes. Your business is doing your businesses are doing amazing.
Thank you.
And so I am super excited to dive into your story. So one thing that I was curious about, even like before we started the podcast, was like, okay, so you have had the boutique for 2 years. You've gotten into real estate fairly recently. So what were you doing 2 years before you even started the boutique?
Yeah, so I was working in corporate. I was working for a marketing agency. So not even what I went to school for. You know how it is. You get a degree, and you don't go to school for what you got your degree in.
What'd you get your degree in?
Prelaw, political science and business.
Oh, wow.
So I was on a political science lawyer track. That's what I wanted to do. And, you kind of get to a place in your life where you continue to grow, and it's like, okay, God, is this really for me? Or did I just want to do this because, for whatever reason? Mm-hmm. And I realized that it just wasn't for me. And that's okay. You grow as people, you evolve. Mm-hmm. The things you want to do change, and that's fine,
Yeah.
So, pre-law, political science. After that, then I taught for a little bit. I love kids, so I taught in APS for a little bit. I taught pre-K, and then I'm like, okay, let me transition again. That's not really what I wanted to do. And then I got into recruitment. So I was recruiting for a little bit, and then I got into recruiting marketing, and that's the last job that I was at.
So you went from pre-law to education, and then you went into corporate.
Yes.
I'm curious about that transition. And then, so you started in the recruiting branch of a corporation, and then you went straight into marketing within like the core function of the same company.
Correct.
Got it. So tell us a little bit, how did you make that connection from, pre-law to education, and then education to corporate?
Yes. So for me, it definitely was different. I'm a very ambitious person, and I like to say that I have a lot of interests. So for me, right out of college, it was either, okay, do I want to go to law school right now, or do I kind of want to wait, maybe work it a little bit? And at the time, financially, law school just wasn't it for me at the time. So I said, you know what, let me do something that I like. I love kids. Let me get a job in kids. And that was very fulfilling, very rewarding. And I think even with that experience, I learned so much about myself.
Yes.
And I realized, like, wow, being able to help kids out, but seeing them dream and seeing them dream big. And I'm like, wow, like, okay, I want to dream big too. And so, you know, I loved it, but I knew, you kind of know when your chapter is done somewhere. And I knew, okay, God, now it's time to move on. So I got into corporate. I'm like, okay, I can do this. You know, I want to work my way up, and I want to do this. And I did really well. You know, I recruited. I love connecting with people. I did that. And it wasn't a hard transition because I love people in general. So that was pretty easy for me. But then after a while, I'm like, okay. And then I got into the recruitment marketing with another company, and I'm like, okay, I see it now. The differences, the culture differences, the corporate lifestyle. Is this really what I want to do? Do I really want to put on a face every day to, you know, kind of fit in, to, you know? And I didn't, you know, it just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me. I don't think, and maybe it was just my experience with that, you know, my last, you know, employer, but I just felt that I was being boxed in so many different ways, and I felt like I have so much creativity, and I couldn't flourish there the way I know I need to flourish for myself. And I couldn't dream big, you know, sitting there on the computer making sure my CEO's dream is getting fulfilled. It's like, what about mine?
Yeah.
And so when I got to that point, I said, okay, let me figure this out, because this isn't it.
Absolutely. You have this, your personality says like sweet girl, but boss chick, and then business. Like it's like kind of all three in it.
I think that's it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because I am so getting all of those. So then when it comes to like the essence of who you are, even your energy feels really cool. I'm curious because when people think about the corporate, you know, ladder, it's for some people and it's not for others. And for you, it's not for you, right?
Yeah.
So, and then even when we say things like we are building our CEO's dream, I think of essence, I can understand you 100%.
Oh, yeah.
So, but what I'm curious about is your skill set, right? So you built your education in prelaw and it somehow translated into marketing. So my first question is like, how did you parlay your experience to get in the door?
Well, definitely it's all about who you know. I'll say that number one. So that definitely helped me out. But I think overall, just me being a people person and being, you know, of course you have skills from college and stuff like that, but being a people person and really showing up and being myself, being genuine. You know, I am who I am. So when I show up for an interview, I'm going to tell you exactly who I am. And it's up to you then to decide if I fit what you need for this position.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of times, you know, I may have doubted myself, but God has always come through, and I've been able to kind of maneuver through different fields, you know, with just me and, you know, my experience, and, you know, people can see that. Yeah, not only do I have this on paper, but in person, you know what I mean? Like I'm genuine, and you can feel that energy from me. And if I'm going to be a good fit, then I'm going to be a good fit for whatever it is you need me to do. So.
Absolutely. So would you say, based on your hiring process, that you came authentically, but they hired you based on other external things that you didn't necessarily present as value?
I would say probably both. I definitely came to the interviews authentically, but you know, I guess the transition, I would say maybe from working with kids into corporate, I have a lot of leadership skills too, and I think that kind of set me apart as well too, to kind of show, okay, so she may have been coming from education, but at the same time, here's X, Y, and Z, she's a leader in the community, and I think that really helped me as well too. So
it's like when we and was this, how old were you?
Let me see, this is like 2016. I think I was like 23.
23.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's making sense because you're young enough for them to see that you have the characteristics for them to mold you into what they want you to be. And I'm assuming the characteristic that you displayed in an authentic way said, okay, well, we can pour what we want into her and make her, like I said, who we want.
Right.
It makes sense. Okay. So now, because they will try it, you know, unfortunately, I have my own vision. I have my own path. And some people are willing to be poured into in that way.
Yeah.
And that's not everybody's journey. So what was your day-to-day like in the role? Like, what was your role in, like, what were your like main deliverables?
So for the previous employer, working on the marketing aspect of recruitment, I had different clients that I would be working with every single week. So it was pretty much each week we would have certain calls with them to kind of figure out what it is marketing wise we could do for them to help them get to wherever they need to with their recruitment goals.
Okay.
And so for me, I worked within the transportation industry. So I was kind of working with different big companies and kind of helping them figure out, okay, we need to have this amount of, X drivers by this week. Help us hire these drivers. Boom. Okay, so now I put my thinking cap on and figure out what we could do, how we could allocate some of their funds to help them attain their goals. So that was pretty much my day-to-day, just kind of hearing what they needed and figuring out how we could get them to their goals.
I would imagine that level of granularity helps you in one, managing two different businesses, yeah. But then also leading your business, looking at certain KPIs and knowing what things need to happen.
Absolutely.
So if we kind of shoot forward, which I definitely want to go back to your story. What would you say, after that experience, do you feel like you use most in your day-to-day life as an entrepreneur?
Absolutely. The marketing aspect for sure. Understanding analytics. I was able to kind of really dig in and get granular with analytics with that job. So it's just so crazy how things kind of correlate and transition over. But those are the skills that I use now for my own businesses, being able to kind of juggle having different needs and, helping people achieve their goals. And now I'm able to kind of figure out, okay, marketing wise, what do I need to do to attain my goals with this, whether it be the boutique, whether it be with real estate? How can I get there? Let me look at the analytics. Let me compare to a month ago. Let me see what I improved on. And exactly what I did.
I love it.
Exactly what I did before.
Do you do year over year and analysis on the boutique at least?
Yes,
you do?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, I try to look and see, and you always want to go into a new year and figure out, okay, how can I get better than what I was last
Absolutely.
year? So,
yeah. A lot of entrepreneurs don't necessarily do that, and it's no knock to people who weren't in corporate, but I just feel like when we already are not say trained that way to look at numbers on a regular basis and year over year comparisons and figure out where we need to increase, and I just think that's a benefit of the journey.
It is.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So just thank corporate for letting us helping us think that way.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's definitely not something to throw away.
I
know. so then back into your journey.
Yes.
Would you say, I know you would say it wasn't the environment you wanted to be in, but was it the type of work? Was it the type of work that you didn't necessarily like, or was it the environment, or do you just feel like you weren't being utilized to your full potential?
I would say all three of those.
Ooh.
All three of those. So for me, I worked for a smaller firm, so maybe 30 to 40 people. It wasn't a lot of Black women there. Well, Black people in general, but Black women. And so I think that was a struggle because, within corporate, you have different cultures depending on where you're at. And, I dealt with a lot of microaggressions, and this was all going on during the whole, 2020 protests and stuff like that. So there were a lot of conversations and things. And, people come from different walks of life, and it got to the point where just a lot of microaggressions. I mean, having braids and people rubbing my hair and, oh, what does it feel like? And, one day I may wear my hair up in a puff. Oh, wow. And then the next day it's straight. Oh, how long does your hair stay straight? I got all those questions. And so little things like that, for me, I'm not comfortable with stuff like that. That's just not the environment that I feel like I can flourish in. You know what I mean? I don't like to be the topic of conversation. If I'm going to work somewhere, I'm going to work and get my work done. You know what I mean? That's just how I operate. So little things like that on top of not necessarily wanting to be in that industry. That's where I ended up. But, you get to a point where it's okay, this isn't for me. I don't thrive when I come here. I don't want to have to put on a face every day. I don't want to feel fake. I want to wake up and be so excited about whatever it is that I'm doing. And if I'm not excited when I drive in traffic 45 minutes to get here and I drive 45 minutes to get back home, then what am I really doing? You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so that on top of, not being utilized the way I wanted to, I'm a natural born leader. So when it comes to me, I like to progress and move up, and if I'm having conversations and I'm talking to my managers and saying, okay, I think I'm ready, and they say, yeah, I think you're ready, but then nothing ever happens, then it's just okay, what am I really doing here? Am I just doing busy work? Are you going to help me grow? You know? Are you going to promise me that we're going to do this? So all of that kind of played a part into me kind of just deciding, this is just not it.
Okay. So you made that decision.
Yes.
How long between you making that decision and then you leaving your job would you say it took?
I would say I definitely want to say 2020 for a lot of people where pretty much it was an eye-opener in a lot of different ways. It made you sit still. It made you do a lot of reflection. It made you do a lot of planning and just kind of contemplating on where you wanted your life to go. At least for me, that's how it was.
Absolutely.
And so working from home, you know, in an environment like that, even though it was virtual, it was still very, very toxic for me. And so towards maybe the beginning of the pandemic, maybe around March or April, I knew then that I had to make a decision by the end of the year. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I knew that I just couldn't stay. And I knew my time was up. And it just, for me, I had to come up with a plan to do it to where I wouldn't fall flat on my face. I had to really plan and be strategic about it. So I would say probably about maybe April of last year, 2020, that's when I knew.
Okay.
And I put my 2 weeks in with my job December 31st, 2020. So I set that intention. I said, listen, I'm not bringing this negative energy into 2021 for me. That's it. 2021, I'm living for myself. So I'm going to set the intention on the last day of the year. I'm letting you know the 15th of January is my last day. And just like that, I did it. Just like that. So my last day of work was January 15th of this year.
Slow clap. Slow clap. Look, I could not have written, and we haven't even barely scratched the surface yet. So you made the decision in April. You executed in December.
Yes.
When you said, okay, I need to have a plan in place, because you already had your boutique, Ayschel. Tell me again.
Ayschelboutique.
Ayschelboutique. You already had Ayschelboutique, and at this point, you said, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I need to have a plan. So, what kind of things did you put in place to make sure you were going to be okay?
Definitely. So, finances. You know, I'm really looking at saving up. You know, what is my 401k looking like? All those type of things. You know. Trying to figure things out. At the time, I had bought a car in 2019. So in January, in 2020, I'm like, oh my gosh, like how am I gonna do this? Nope, I was able to, refinance. Like I had all these things in place. I knew what I needed to do. Let me get my, things lined up, finances right. Let me make sure I'm paying off these bills. If I need to work overtime, whatever it is I need to do to make sure I'm stacking, so that when I leave, I have that cushion that I need, because I need to be able to figure it out somehow, and I don't want finances to hold me back anyway.
Absolutely. Okay, so finances was number one.
Finances, mentally as well too.
Yeah.
I knew, and I think they probably knew. I would be checked out. Maybe they felt me checked out a little bit. I don't know, but at a certain point, it's like, okay, like I'm gonna do what I need to do, to make sure I'm getting my work done, but at the same time, understand that I'm also working on what I need to do on the side for me as well too.
Absolutely.
So kind of just mentally getting things together, emotionally as well too. And I think for a while it took me so long to decide on what date I wanted to do that, because I kept going back with myself, like, oh my gosh, can I really do this? God, is this the right timing? Am I tripping? Am I supposed to be doing this? Maybe I should stay here. Maybe, it was so much back and forth, and it was so much anxiety, because it's like, you get scared. We're conditioned to think that you have to stick it out. We were in the middle of a pandemic. People don't have jobs. What am I doing leaving my job? Am I being ungrateful? Is that selfish of me? All those type of thoughts were in my mind, and I'm like, okay, let me really sit down. And I really just said, I have to just put something down on paper. I got to put something down on paper. And I said, okay, you know what? I'm just going to set the intention on New Year's Eve that this is going to be the best year of my life, and I'm going to do it for me. So I'm going to let y'all know today that I'm done. And that's just how it happened. I literally just had to put it down on paper, because at first it was like, okay, I'm going to do it in October, maybe November. You know what? December. And then at first I'm like, maybe I want to do it maybe at the end of January to have a little bit, couple more checks
cushion.
Cutting it off. That's it. I'm not bringing that into 2021 with me. All about the intention.
All about the intention. One of the things that you said to me, and you don't know this, but it resonated with me, because one of the things that you mentioned was you would go to your car on your lunch breaks and pray.
Girl.
Tell me why. That's exactly what one of the first things that I started to do with my lunch breaks was go in there, and I would do affirmations. I would literally have to pump myself up, and I would even take naps if I needed a nap, like, because I need the second half of energy. So, like, was there anything that, like, did you have support or someone to help you understand like what should you be doing to align mentally, emotionally, and spiritually?
No.
You just was like, oh, I need to go to my car and pray.
I had no idea, and it's so unfortunate because again, I was kind of telling a little bit about the company culture that I was very toxic, but what they were doing, they were pretty much letting go of all my friends, like all my melanated friends. They were my black coworkers. They were letting them go, and so it got to the point where it felt like, okay, either I'm going to be next or they're going to keep me here for whatever reason, to be a token or whatever it is. You know what I mean? And I don't like that. And I was so devastated. I would go to lunch with my friends, and then it was just like, okay, well, this person's getting let go. And it was just like a cycle that I was seeing. So for me, it already had me on edge because I'm like, okay, do I need to have a plan B just in case they let me go, or what is it? And, you know, so at that time, when I really was pretty much like the last person standing sometimes, it just got to the point where I don't want to go to lunch with these people. Let me go in my car and pray, because now my energy is thrown off for the day. And, you know, now I got to come back in and put a face on for the clients, knowing that inside I'm dying inside. Like, I feel that, you know, this is just a very toxic environment for me, and I can't thrive in that. So I literally would take naps. I would go pick up lunch, eat in my car. I would pray. I would have my notebook, because I started the boutique while I was working at that job. Because of these moments, I would be in my car sometimes crying, like, God, what is it? You know, what is it? And my prayer was, God, you know, whatever it is, help me get out of this job, or just help me exit corporate by the time I'm 30. At the time, I was like maybe 25, 26. And I said, help, I have to get out of this job, number one, but then out of corporate in general, because I'm just not happy here. And so I would write in my journal, I would do affirmations, I would pray, listen to music, you know, call my mom, my dad for support, you know, during lunch. And really just keep pushing. And that was a daily thing. That was a daily thing. Daily thing.
Girl, I say this all the time, but you know, sometimes, and the way I see it, God was moving people out of your comfort, so that you could get more uncomfortable and more uncomfortable and more uncomfortable to the place where you have to focus on yourself. You got to go to your car, sit with yourself, and make the decision for yourself. But even then, some people won't make the decision for themselves. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy, because that's when I knew I had to take the leap. Like, you get so uncomfortable, and I'm talking about so, like, if you've been there, you know that type of discomfort. So uncomfortable, and it's to the point where it's just like I can't even function right, because this is just on my head. I'm on my mind about this, and it's just to the point where you feel like you have no choice but to leave.
The people who you would essentially go to keep you sane on a regular day, they're no longer here. So now, if y'all don't want me to go off on this person,
listen, I'm telling you, it's so real.
Oh my gosh, your story is so much in alignment with mine. So I'm amazed. So let's go back. Let's go back to a brighter day. The day you decided to start Ayschelboutique. Ayschelboutique. Tell us about, like, what was that? What was the inspiration behind it? And then how did you get started?
So actually, Ayschelboutique was something that I had a vision about since I was 19. So let's back all the way up to college. One summer I was working, one semester I worked part-time at this lady's boutique. I got a part-time job there. Beautiful black woman. She had this beautiful boutique, and I think at the time I was probably 18, 19, and she left me in charge to run her boutique. So she would leave a lot of the times to go on vacation and would call me, hey Ashley, just checking in, how's it going? She would just be out running her other businesses while I was running her boutique for her. And so she pretty much trained me when it came to like merchandise and having certain things, and packages would come in, new inventory. So I was kind of, you know, checking those off for her, and the money, and watching all of that, and, you know, customers coming in and trying on clothing and talking to them and helping them. And it was just beautiful. And I was young, you know, so that really inspired me. Just being able to kind of help people come in and find something cute for whatever occasion they had going on, and then them walking out and them feeling beautiful and just feeling really good about themselves. I love that. And I'm like, wow, cool, okay. And this is before Instagram and stuff like that. So never knew how I could possibly do it. I knew one day I wanted to have my own boutique though. And so now fast forward to 2019, I think the beginning of 2019, I said, okay, having one of those days at work, sitting down at my desk, and it really hit me. It's like, wow, like I just feel like I'm so ambitious. Like I feel like I'm so confined to this cubicle and, you know, my computer, you know, I'm doing this. My CEO is happy every day. You know, he can walk by and say, hey, because people are fulfilling his dream for him. And it's just like, but what about mine?
Yeah.
You know, what am I going to do 10 years from now when I look back and say, wow, like what did I do what I wanted to do, you know? And so just, you know, literally started writing things down and like, okay, playing around with different names, playing around with different things. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I researched, I figured out how to do it. I didn't have anybody at the time to really go to and say, how do I do this? Researched everything by myself. YouTube videos. How do I get my EIN number? How do I get my business license? My sales permit? All of those type of things. How do I find people to help me with my logo, color schemes? Everything. I did all that. How do I get merchandise? Where are my vendors at? All of that. So I kind of just started doing the research. I want to say probably between January to February, well, maybe February to March of 2019. And then I launched it in August. So in between that time frame, I was getting my vendors and researching and all of that. And I was able to do it while I was at work. I would finish the work and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get my work done because I need my bills paid. I'm gonna get my work done, but then at the end of the day, I'm gonna allot whatever time I have left, extra time I have, free time I have to working on my business while I'm here in front of this computer. I'm gonna make it work for me.
100%. Girl, I love it. What was the vision? What did you say? Okay, I'm starting here, but I want to take it here. Did you have a vision?
I had a vision. My biggest thing for me was, you know, bringing that feeling that I saw when I was 19 to women. I wanted them to feel that with my clothing. So it's just like, okay, like I wanted to have this like classy feel to it. I wanted it to be, you know, women can come to my boutique for any occasion. If you want to go on vacation, girl, I got you. If you want to go on a date, girl, I got you too. Girls night out, I got you too. You know? So I knew what I had in mind, and it was just a matter of trying to get it all out of my on paper. And, you know, writing things out really helps, and being able to kind of plan things out. And it, you know, it helped me so much just writing things out and just kind of picturing like, okay, what is it that I want to have? And, you know, what time, it took me a while. I'm a perfectionist as well. So it's like, okay, colors, it took me a little minute to get that. The logo, wasn't feeling some of them. And then I was like, okay, that's it. Yeah. Then when you have that moment, it's like, this is it. Yeah. I see it.
I have my own relationship with perfectionism, but again, I talked about your story. You planned so much before you left. I planned a little bit, but you planned a lot. And I think what a corporate job allows you to do is keep that little perfectionism edge, because you're still comfortable. It's not like it has to go out today. Like when you're a full-time entrepreneur, it's stifling to be a perfectionist. Like your success is stifled. Maybe your creativity takes forever, but you don't get the product out, and then you don't get their sales.
Exactly.
So I think that's actually a pretty good, for people who are still in their jobs, I recommend like getting started now, thinking about what that is, get your vision out there.
And use it as momentum, you know what I mean? Like, you have your 9 to 5, but from 6 to 10, a lot, maybe 3 to 4 hours a night to your dream, and making sure you're doing it. And, you know, the moments that you're agitated at work, use that fuel to go to your desk and figure out what it is you need to do to get out.
100%.
It works. It works every single time.
I was gonna ask you about your outfit. So is this a boutique piece?
This is not a boutique piece.
Okay.
It's so cute though.
It is, because I've gone to your page and I'm like, when you said vacation, check. I definitely love that. When like everything that you've posted since I've met you, I'm like, check, love that. Check, love that. It's so my style, because I love this. It kind of looks like Calvin Klein, but that's like, is it?
No, I don't think it is.
Okay, but it's got the feel, and it's a little bit more feminine. Yeah. So like when you think about what goes into your clothes, like what goes into them? Because you talk about like the delivery, like the outcome, women wearing it in their best moments. Yeah. Then like, what do you put into it?
Definitely a lot of research. You know, finding vendors. So I do wholesaling. So finding vendors that kind of align with, you know, what I want and what the look that I have. And so, you know, for me, like I said, any occasion. So I'm going through different vendors. I'm, you know, making sure the quality of the clothing is good. If the quality isn't good, I'm not going to sell it. I'm not going to do that, because I don't want to wear anything that doesn't have good quality. Little things like that. So it's very intricate when it comes to making sure, you know, the sizes match up accordingly to what the size charts say. All that type of stuff goes into it in the front. So I'm constantly trying to make sure the material's good, you know, making sure, like I said, the quality, all of that, that's on the front end. And then as well too, is this going to align with the vision that I have for my boutique? Is this going to be something that, if it's not something I'm not going to wear, I'm not going to get it, obviously. You know what I mean? So yeah.
What would you say is the fit that you go for typically? Do you go for like shapely, or do you, okay, the reason I ask you is because remember when Beyonce had Darion, those jeans?
Yes.
And even Kim Kardashian had it, and it's just like the shape. You know that they're going for curvy women, right? And there are other brands where it brings you in a certain place. I'm like, this was made for me. So like when you do your sizes and what's the fit that do you have a fit you're going for, or is it a style that you go for?
I wouldn't say fit per se, more so style. Like for me, I'm very feminine, so it's like I kind of want my clothes to reflect that as well too. So if I can see something and it's like, ooh, that would look really good, or you know, I can see this would look good on somebody, or if it's classy, like okay, she could maybe wear this, you know, to a corporate setting. Like that's just kind of how I am with style. I try to put my personal style into my clothing as well too, because you know, like I said, I want people to wear it and like feel good about themselves in any occasion. Like I said, whether it be vacation, date, you know, corporate setting, business casual, like I want you to be able to look your best in Ayschel.
Yeah. Well, and the good thing is you can see if it looks good on you, because we both talked about our workout regimen. So if it looks good on you, then it's going to look good on me. So there's a piece that I really love of yours. It's this green, like I want to say jumpsuit, but it has like the leg that's cut out. You were sitting like on the side of a fountain. I'm like, that right there is really cute, because I don't often wear like feminine things. I've been accused of being a masculine woman, but I'm like, it's all in there. It's all in there.
Exactly. It's who you are.
Absolutely.
It's naturally who you are.
Yeah. So I got to get one of those pieces. So it's literally, and you guys should check out that picture specifically, because it's just gorgeous.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely. So I'm curious. We've got legal, we've got your teaching experience, we've got corporate, and then we've got this fashion sense.
Yes.
I could dig into any one of those, but I'm like, where did the creativity come from to start a fashion line out of all of these things?
I'm just a creative person. I've always been one. I don't know if y'all are into life path numbers, but mine is 3, which is the creator. So that little things like that. But I've always done things all my life, and it's so funny because people are like, how do you have time to do everything? I wear many hats, and you know, when I feel like God has given me the gift to be able to do that and do it well. And you know, now I'm at the place in my life, I'm a full-time entrepreneur, so I'm gonna make all of them work for me. You know? So it's just something that I've always been a creative person, and I come alive when I create, I love it. And I think now that I don't really have the distraction of working for somebody else, I can really hone in on it more, and I'm able to really just be myself and allow my creativity to flow however it may. So if one day I want to do this, I'm going to do it. Another day I want to do this, I'm going to do that too. Why not? You know, I have one life. I'm going to maximize my time while I'm here.
Yeah. What's your creative process?
That part. Honestly, it all starts obviously for me with writing it down. I have to get it down on paper. Writing it down, I'll get an idea. You know, it could be when I'm driving, it could be when I'm talking to somebody. And then I write it down. Okay, this is what I want to do. Boom. So how do I execute it? I have to have a plan. You know, I figure out what it is I need to do, and then write it down. I continuously write things down. Then I pray on it. If it's, you know, feels right, then I do it. And I just, you know, build up the confidence to do whatever it is. And I just put myself out there and I do it.
Speaking of which, you set your DDay. I call it DDay. The day you decided to turn in your 2 weeks notice.
Yes.
You set it for December 31st, right? And then you also just said, you were speaking about the fear. I got so wrapped up into what you were saying that I was thinking about, what was it like for you to actually make that transition? Like, what was the day 1 looking like? And then what did day 5 look like?
You're right.
I take it back.
I know, right? Trust me. Day 1, fun. So for me, the process, well, putting in the 2 weeks, obviously, and maybe the way I did it, I don't know. But I'm very respectful, and I did it, and I just said, going, like I said, 2021, I just kind of want to take my life into a different direction, my career, so I want to go ahead and just do this because I know, where everybody's kind of getting ready for the new year. I was extremely nervous doing that. Extremely nervous because, it was on New Year's Eve and we had a half day. So I did it right before everybody kind of logged out and stuff. I said, oh, by the way, can we talk real quick, And so I did it like that. But it was received well. Everybody was happy for me.
Okay.
And the day of, then it was just like, I don't know. It was one of the most amazing feelings I've ever had. I think going to the office, dropping off my laptop, clearing off my desk. It was bittersweet in a way because I'm not too good with change as a person, but I knew the change was good and I made the change for myself. So I knew that I had to just try to trust the journey, trust God in that moment. And that was the most amazing feeling, being able to kind of walk back. I felt so liberated. I felt free. I felt freedom. And for the first time, I felt free. And I think it was a mental thing because I walked out and I was smiling, girl. I was dancing in the parking lot to my car. I felt that. It felt so good. Yes. It felt so good, so liberating. And then that evening, I think it started to settle in again. Like, okay, well, dang, I don't have to turn on my laptop in the morning to work for them anymore. Like, okay, let me get a planner. Let me start planning out my days now. And, after a while, I enjoyed it. Then it's like, whoa. Okay, I really got to make this happen because, now I'm doing it for me. You know what I mean? I'm not on anybody else's time. I'm on my time now. So I had to really kind of take it slow because I'm like very anxious sometimes. I'm like, okay, did I really do the right thing? Should I have stayed for that extra paycheck at the end of the month? Like all those thoughts started coming back and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to doubt myself. I did what I did. I said what I said. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. I was free. This is it.
Yeah.
So
I love it. Did you have a struggle, or was it even just a bit uncomfortable answering that question? So what are you gonna do when you leave? Did you get another job?
Yes. So that actually turned out to be one of the funniest parts of it because I'm the type of person, I don't like people speaking fear into my plans. You know what I mean? And when it comes to me plotting out my next move, because at the time while I'm doing all of this, I'm in real estate school. So I'm in real estate school while I'm doing all of this. So it was just very time consuming. It was just a lot going on. And so what I told them was, I didn't tell them what I was doing. I just said, I'm going to be doing something more aligned with my degree.
Ooh.
And I left it at that.
Love it.
And then it turned into, oh, well, your degree's in political science. Are you doing something in law? I'm doing something that's aligned with my degree. That's all you need to know.
Really? You shut it down?
I shut it down. I just said that's what I'm doing. Something aligned with my degree.
That's nice.
I'm doing this for me. I don't need your energy. I don't need whatever you have to say. I'm good over here.
That's beautiful.
You know what I mean? You can have your thoughts on what I'm doing. Something aligned with my degree. That's it.
I love it.
And I left it at that.
Ooh, that's strong. That is very strong. I love it. I can't. I'm gonna leave that alone. Coming from a people pleaser, I was like,
and see, that was hard for me because I had to get advice on how to handle that when I left, before I left, because I am a people pleaser, and that's something that recovering. Right. I'm an Ashely pleaser now, but love that. But in those moments, that was hard for me because I'm not a mean person. You know, I feel people are genuine until they show me they're not. So. You could be curious. And, I don't want to be seen or leave a bad impression of you. But at the same time, I'm protecting my next stage in my life. I have to protect this. Yeah. Because I'm building it. Yeah. It's not fully here yet. Yeah. I'm still in the middle of real estate school. Yeah. I need to protect what I'm doing. I'm not going to let you know what I'm doing. I'm going to protect this and let you know I'm doing something aligned with my degree.
I love it. I love it. I couldn't have done it any better than that. So, I'm glad you brought back the real estate, though I was already gonna come back here because I'm so curious. We got the boutique, and I understand it's a vision. It's really cool that you're able to even tap into that left side of your brain, right? And then I'm thinking, okay, real estate. You mentioned how important, like, seeing your dad, do his thing. Yeah. So I was wondering if we could go back there and, like, what was it like growing up with a dad who's a realtor?
Oh, it was awesome. He actually. He was a realtor before I was born. I was born in LA, so he was kind of dominating the LA industry back in the 90s, 80s, and 90s. But when I was younger, he was an investor. So being able to kind of witness him with multiple properties and, you know, different tenants and stuff like that, it was pretty cool. And you could ask him to this day, he'll tell you that I always had Ashely on my lap with me. She was always in the car with me, going to houses and, you know, growing up, and then we moved here to Atlanta and still seeing him do the same thing. We would always go to open houses and stuff. So I was always fascinated with just, you know, houses and the luxury of it and driving through neighborhoods. And I don't know if you remember those little free information boxes. I was picking up all of them, girl. Every neighborhood. Actually, go get that one real quick. And I would run and get it. And so it's just something that I've always done, seeing his passion with it. And, you know, when I got to the place where it's just like, okay, what do I want to do? I know I need to leave this job, but what is it that I want to do? Do I want to get another corporate job, or do I want to give something else a shot? And at that time, I said, you know what? I thought about it. It's something I've always wanted to do. And I said, let me talk to my parents about it. And when I said it, and he's like, that's it. Go for it. And I did it right away. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it.
And you enrolled.
I went straight into it. I enrolled. I did it. I enrolled in December of 2020.
Okay.
And so it was, you know, balancing that and the job. It just got to become too much. It was a lot. It was a lot of work that I was doing. It was 9 to 5 and 6 to 10 class every night, and it was just a lot. But I knew that I had to grind. I had to push it out. I knew it was temporary, you know.
So everything is so beautiful. I'm really, really enjoying it. But something that just hit me is, you know, when I'm remembering the 9 to 5, 6 to 10, sometimes 6 to 5, right? Back to 9. It's stressful.
Very stressful.
And I learned about stress a different way. How did you learn? Like, how did you handle stress during like the toughest times?
Yeah, it was rough. Honestly, because I knew that I was taking the leap, and I thank God for my family. You know, my mom, at the time I was living on my own. I had my own apartment downtown. And my mom was like, you know, you're getting ready to, I know what you're setting up. Come home. You know, you have a foundation here. I want to help you come home. So thankfully I was home. So I had that support of my family there. But for me personally, really just, I have a whiteboard in my room and I have quotes on there. And I literally would just kind of look at them every single day. And one of my favorite quotes says, my life and my legacy depend on my consistency. And every morning I would wake up and I would read that. And I'm like, okay, I'm tired, Lord. Today it's going to be a rough day. But my life and my legacy depends on my consistency. And that's something that I would repeat to myself every single day. When I got frustrated, when I got tired, I had to push through it. I knew it was temporary. I knew the class was temporary. I knew the job was temporary. I already had an end date for the class. I already had an end date for the job. You know, push through it, Ashely. Push through it, Ashely. And so that's how I did it.
I'm going through a lot as we speak. And that was just a reminder. Push through it, especially since you have the end date. This is not going to last forever. And so it's like that even gives you more hope and reassurance that, you know, we are capable of pushing through our ancestors have pushed through worse.
Come on.
Okay.
Listen.
And so when you say, like, I got that end date, I know exactly how long I need to be consistent.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I need to do a 9 to 5 and 6 to 10.
Yeah.
We can do this.
Absolutely.
That's very real.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah.
Man. Okay, so Dad was like, this is it.
Yeah. He's
You're
like, you
like,
got my blessing, and, you know, whatever you need, like, let's do it. And,
Yeah.
you know, and so now that I'm in it, he's like, I got to get back into it now. So it's just a beautiful full circle moment, because that was always his first love, and he's in corporate. And I'm like, Daddy, well, you know, I'm doing it now. Come on over here. Like, let's do it together.
That would be
and so
so
I'm bringing
good.
it back to his passion. And me doing it, he's reliving his passion through me. It's just a beautiful moment. It's beautiful. Alignment.
Daddy, daughter, real estate firm.
I know, right?
Look.
Listen, y'all, I'm always up to something, so.
I'm already excited.
Always up to something, but yeah.
Okay. I am like overwhelmed by excitement. Like, this is going to be amazing. Daddy, daughter, literally, I'm putting it out there. Not that you guys, if you guys don't do anything with it, then we won't see it.
Yes.
But I'm putting it out there. So
I receive it.
let that be.
I receive
yes.
it.
Okay. So we are in a really great space right now. I would say we've unloaded the burden of corporate. We have taken on two beautiful things, two beautiful brainchilds, and now you have more time with family.
More time with family.
So I would say, like, from my perspective, you're living what I would say is work and play. It's not a balance. It's like all wrapped up in one life. How would you say that's how it's going?
Yeah, it really is. It's beautiful. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm human. So I have days where I'm like, oh, goodness, like I'm tired today or I'm overwhelmed. I'll push myself so much sometimes and I just get burnt out and like I need like literally a few days off because I'm just like going so hard all the time. But, as I grow through it and I'm learning, I feel like I'm always going to be learning. And as an entrepreneur, it's every single day is not the same. And, having to learn how to navigate through it and my emotions at the same time and still having time for self-care. It's a lot, but at the end of the day, I can't complain because I'm living my life on my terms, and I'm doing what it is I need to do to make sure that I'm happy when I wake up every morning.
Yeah.
And, so yeah, I'm learning the balance thing though, because sometimes, like I said, I'll go so hard and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so burnt out today. Like, oh, let me just rest a little bit longer today or whatever. But for the most part, yes, I would say it's all wrapped in one.
I love it. Your story, I can tell you're going to be successful. And I know that because like this conversation, so coaching people through their transition into entrepreneurship, these are the questions that you have to ask yourself. And to hear you went through your own process of evaluating your situation, setting yourself up for financial success as much as you could, right? Yeah. Creating a revenue stream, even if it didn't support you 100%, and then having a strategy of how you were going to develop another revenue stream. These are the building blocks to make it successful. Would you say, in your experience, because I'm hearing you, I feel like entrepreneurship is for you. Would you say, based on your story and other people's story, would you say entrepreneurship is not for everyone, or would you say anyone can succeed if they put those pieces together?
I would say it's not for everyone because a lot of people, and it's okay that it's not for everyone. You have to have a lot of courage to really step out and trust yourself. However, I would hope that everyone gets to the point and place in their life where they give their dreams a shot. You know what I mean? Give your dream a shot. And that's my biggest thing too. I don't want to be 80 years old looking back and saying, damn, I should have done this, or I should have, I could have done this, or why didn't I do this? But at the same time, it's not for everyone. People may find enjoyment in climbing up the corporate ladder. That's okay too. Right. At one point, that's what I wanted to do too. But I got to the point where I knew that wasn't for me, and that's okay too. So it's not for everyone, but for those that it's not for, that's okay. As long as they're happy with what they're doing every single day, that's fine. So.
Yeah, I think you're right. You said it really well. Give yourself a shot.
Yeah, give yourself a shot. You never know what could happen.
Yeah.
You never know what could happen if you literally just trust yourself. And like I said, for me, in my mind, when the light bulb went off for me when I was working in corporate, seeing my CEO every morning coming in and happy, and he was just so happy. But that's his dream. His dream was fulfilled. Me sitting at my desk was a part of his dream. And he's fine. He could kick up with his legs in the office and chill because he knows that everything is handled. He's gotten to the place where he wanted to get to in his business. But it's like, but what about my business? And if he gave his dream a shot, why not give mine a shot?
Yeah.
So.
I love it. When I'm thinking of the person who's looking at your story and they're like, dang, she did it. And then when we say like, entrepreneurship is not cut out for everyone, then people will go, yeah, see, like I should be staying in corporate. But I venture to say, like, I think everyone should take a step of courage and see if it is for you. Because more people should try.
Yeah, I agree. And I think just with the way the world is moving now with technology, it's a lot easier, I would say, probably now than it was before. And use social media as a tool that's what I do. You use social media, you can connect with people. There's different ways now to get yourself in front of people and use those tools. And I think that people that do take the courage, they have the courage to do it, they utilize social media, they utilize their networks correctly, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think they'll be fine.
I think they'll be fine too. So when we think out, I typically ask a ceremonial question, which you can totally answer. But I'm also curious about your future.
Sure.
And like what you envision for like life.
Yeah.
Not particularly with business, but like how do you envision your life in the future, at any point in the future?
Definitely a life of freedom, a life of financial freedom, and just freedom to be able to just do what I want to do. I love traveling. Oh my goodness, if I could travel 10, 12, 20 times a year, I would, just to go and explore. I'm an explorer. I love just like seeing things and trying different foods and learning different cultures and connecting with different people in different countries. It's so beautiful to be able to connect with people. And so I would love that, just to be able to travel, my husband, my kids, I'm so excited for those chapters in my future and being able to give back and invest. I want to invest. I see myself investing in my community. I see myself, giving back to my community, helping the kids in my community. Those are the type of things that I want to do.
Beautiful. And you just gave me an alley-oop, because that literally goes to my last question when I think about, in the spirit of Sankofa, like reaching back as we move forward. I am so curious about like when you get a chance to give back and when you get a chance to invest, and you might not always be directly with the client who is like receiving the dollars or the whatever you're offering. But like when you think about the people that you want to truly help from a community aspect of it, what would you say to that person or people to start believing in themselves or whatever they need to do to get to a level of success that you say you've reached?
I would say, in my experience, what got me to this place, like I said, was looking at my life in the future. So it's just like, did I do everything that I wanted to do? Will I be happy with my decision 20 years from now if I stay here or if I leave? Like I said, being a creator, that's my childlike self. And so I always tell people to go back to your childlike self. What is it that makes you happy? Do that. Would you want to do that for the rest of your life? You were happy about it when you were a child. What dreams did you have when you were younger? Do that now. Give yourself back and do that for yourself. And so I always tell people that, and like I said, you want to be happy with what you do when you wake up every single morning. So find out whatever that is, whatever it is, if it's, whatever industry it could be in. Learn the skills that you need to learn now in your job and use that and mesh it with your dreams. Mesh it together and see what you could do. See, learn what you need to learn now in the corporate setting and use those same exact skills, because what you're doing there is not by mistake. You're in that particular situation, in that particular position for a reason. Use that and catapult your business with those skills.
Couldn't have said it better myself. 100%.
I'm telling you, it works. I'm telling you, it does.
I love it. Have you ever thought about coaching?
No, I haven't.
Well, even if not coaching, you have this motivational like presence about you. So even if like you like took a day off from like real estate and your boutique to go motivationally speak somebody into
I'm gonna write it down.
Write it down. I'm all into it. Like I just, even if it's not a whole structure of your business, I definitely can see speaking events in your future, because you tailor so much of like, sometimes what I fail to find the words to help my clients, you tailor it so well into this conversation. So yeah, girl, get yourself on somebody's stage, okay?
Yes, ma'am. We're gonna make it happen.
Yes. So one, thank you for joining me on the couch. I've appreciated hearing your story.
Absolutely.
And I know there's someone who is touched by your story and is also motivated by your story. So if there's someone listening or watching and they want to get connected with you, or they want to work with you, or they want to like buy, shop from you, how can they get connected?
Yes, so my personal Instagram is officially_Ayschel. So that is OFFICIALLY_Ayschel, AYSCHEL. My boutique Instagram is Ayschelboutique, so that is Ayschel again, Ayschel boutique, and then my website is Ayschelboutique.com.
Cannot make it that any simpler, okay? Well, it's all going to be in the description below, and then everything will be linked to wherever you find this audio or video. But again, thank you so much for joining me.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Absolutely, this has been a treat.
This has been a treat for me too.
Look, okay, well, I'm glad to reciprocity.
Of course, absolutely.
Do you have any like final words for the folks before we get up out of here?
You know, I would just say again, follow your heart, follow your dreams, give yourself a shot, give yourself a shot. Believe in yourself, believe in yourself. And like I always tell myself, your life and your legacy depend on your consistency. And when you're 80 years old and you're sitting, in your wheelchair, whatever, and you're thinking back on your life, did you do exactly what it is you needed to do to make yourself happy, made yourself, your childlike self happy, all of that. So think of those things, and I promise you, you'll know what to do.
There you have it. Well, until next time, thank y'all so much for watching this episode of the Work and Play podcast. Thank you for listening. Until next time, peace out.